Welcome to Pardon the Intermission, a podcast that takes a look at movies, TV, and all things entertainment from the past, the present, and the future. Remember to subscribe and like the podcast and give a review. This helps out the podcast and is greatly appreciated. Now on to the show.
Yes, hey everyone, welcome to Pardon the Intermission. I am Eric.
And I'm Jason.
And thank you guys for joining us. We got another great show here. As always, check out our social media. We're on Twix at PTI_podcast.
And we haven't gone anywhere on Facebook. You can still find us there at Pardon the Intermission.
And we are also on YouTube and Rumble.
Yep.
So, just type in Pardon the Intermission in the search, and we should pop up. Please subscribe and like the videos.
Very important.
We're trying to put more fun stuff on there.
Subscribe. So. You have no choice, folks. Subscribe.
Okay, we've got a yes, please. You have you have no choice, please.
That's
please,
right.
We're begging.
Yes.
Yeah, you do have a choice, but
Jedi mind tricks. You will subscribe.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's right.
We've got a movie. Well, I guess it is a movie, right? Considered a movie, even though it was released on was it
direct to Netflix? So
Netflix,
never made it to
movie
theaters.
review.
It's still a movie though. Yeah.
Yeah, movie review. What are we reviewing today?
We are reviewing Beverly Hills Cop Axel F.
Yes. All right, so we got Beverly Hills. Okay, so Beverly Hills Cop came out in 84, I think, right?
Came out in 1984.
That's right.
40 years ago, Eric.
Wow, that's crazy.
Jesus, right? And it's still good.
Did I ever tell you a story about watching Beverly Hills Cop for the first time?
No, you didn't.
Okay, so I'll tell you this real quick, folks, and because I know I drone on, but anyway, real quick. So I was a young kid.
Yeah.
I was 84. I was about 14, and my mom and stepdad at the time had dropped me off at the movie theater and said, "Hey, we're gonna go to the other town to see your aunt, and you want to go see a movie?" And I'm all, "Yes." You know what I want to see is Commando. It just came out with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Awesome movie.
Commando just came out. Alyssa Milano played his daughter, and this is like one of his first big movies, right?
Stick around.
Yeah. So I wanted to see it so bad. So they dropped me off. I'm waiting in line. I get up to the guy to pay the ticket booth and get my ticket, and I go, "Yeah, I want to see Commando." And they're like, "Oh, that's rated R. You're too young." I go, what? Now we gotta listen. Listen, folks. As a kid, I always looked younger. I looked about probably 5 years younger than I was. So if I was 14, I probably looked about 9. Right?
That's true. No, that's true. That he still looks young to this day, folks.
Thank you. No, bring it on. No, that's enough.
You got it. Okay. Hand claps.
Anyway, okay. So anyway, I look a lot younger, and so I don't even know if the guy was messing. He's probably just messing with me at the theater. But he's all, "No, I can't let you into that one." And I was like, "Oh man!" And I'm thinking at the time, there's no cell phones or anything. You had a pay phone, but my mom and stepdad, they didn't have a cell phone in their car. They're on the road, right? So I'm stuck at the movie theater. So I'm like thinking, great, I'm going to sit out here all night waiting for him. I can't get in the movie.
Yeah.
I go, "Okay, well, is there something I can watch?" And they go, "Oh yeah, you want to see Beverly Hills Cop?" And I go, "Okay, that came out too. I didn't know anything about it." Oh my gosh, dude, it was the right choice. I love that movie. I was laughing my butt off in there.
Great movie.
Had the best time. Yeah,
we're not gonna fall for no banana in the tailpipe.
So that's my story. I saw it in 1984 in the theater for the first time. Amazing. Of course, and then they had 2 and 3, Beverly Hills Cop 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Now they've come out with Axel F. Like you said, 40 years later.
Yeah, it takes place 40 years after the original. And the original cast.
Let's just say there might be some spoilers here.
Yes. So if you do mind spoilers, you better hit pause right now and give us a few minutes.
Okay, go. Pause it. Okay, go. So the original cast, what were you saying?
Yeah, so one thing I like about this is the original cast all returned. Fortunately, they're all still alive. None of them have passed on yet. So Eddie Murphy, of course, who played the lead character, Axel Foley, returned. You had John Ashton, who played in the original film Sergeant Taggart.
Yes.
But he's now the chief of the Beverly Hills Police Department in this one. Mm-hmm. So he returned. Judge Reinhold, although I was disappointed in his return on this, is back as Billy Rosewood. And then you also had Paul Reiser, who was Jeffrey Friedman, Axel's partner in Detroit.
Yes, in Detroit. Yes.
And then
he's now the deputy. He was actually the chief over there, too.
Yeah, the deputy chief of the Detroit Police Department there. So he made a return. And then, of course, you had Aquil.
Oh, my gosh. I love it. Serge.
Bronson Pinchot, who played Balky Bartokomous. In that 80s sitcom.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Remember that 80s sitcom?
Yes.
What was it called?
not two something. Was it two something?
Two of a Kind or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played Balky Bartokomous most notably. But yeah, he came back and reprised his little cameo here as Serge. So they got all of them back, which was great. And then to add to the new cast members, we saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who played a character named Billy Abbott. And then a young actress by the name of Taylor Page, who plays Eddie Murphy's daughter. Her name is Jennifer Saunders. She actually changes her name because in the storyline, she has a fractured relationship.
They're not getting along.
They don't like each other very much.
Yeah.
And so she changed her name because she doesn't want to know this guy anymore, Eric. And then Kevin Bacon, of course, plays a corrupt cop in this one. His character's name is Captain Cade Grant.
Did you say Joseph Gordon? I'm sorry. Did you say Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in this too?
I did, yes. He played Detective Bobby Abbott.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to look up what you saw. Too.
No,
I was
okay.
trying to look up that show. What was it called? Oh my gosh, that's bugging me. Bronson.
Two of a Kind, I want to say it was, or not All in the Family. That was Carol O'Connor.
No, we'll figure it out. We'll
Perfect
get
Strangers or something.
Oh,
like
Perfect Strangers. That's
Perfect
it.
Strangers.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Balky
That's it.
Bartokomous.
Yeah.
But so yeah, anyway, I love that the original cast, still alive, was able to reprise their roles in this.
Yes.
So that was good. And the story, the plot of the movie centers around Eddie Murphy's Axel's daughter, Jennifer, who is a defense attorney in this movie. She's representing a cop killer, a convicted cop killer, whom she's trying to get out of prison because she found some evidence that proves he was framed or set up.
Yes.
And he was apparently set up by this Mexican cartel out of Culiacan, Mexico. And along the way, Axel finds out through Jeffrey Friedman, who finds out that.
Isn't Billy contacted him? Right?
That's right. Billy did.
Billy contacts him directly and says, "Hey, your daughter's in trouble."
Exactly, and Billy was helping her break this case because he's the one who investigated it.
At this point, his character Billy Rosewood, he is a private detective.
Yes, he is.
He's not with the force anymore at this point.
No, he's not. And so like Eric just said, Billy contacts Axel, lets him know that his daughter is in trouble. So obviously he flies out there to Beverly Hills and does the Axel thing.
Yeah.
And along the way,
Okay, so yes, he flies out. Sorry.
Yes, so he flies out, and he obviously embroils himself in the whole plot of the movie, where he's not only trying to find out. Basically, what they're doing is they're trying to find Billy because Billy goes missing. He's investigating this case.
Yes.
And he goes missing. And apparently, he was looking for. Correct me if I'm wrong here. A little SD card that was powering a camera inside the car that the cop was framed in.
Yes.
And so Billy found that SD card.
Yeah, because that shows footage of that the guy was framed.
Right,
It will set him free.
And so Kevin Bacon, who's the corrupt cop, is trying to send his thugs around town, trying to find this SD card so that they can destroy the evidence, while at the same time, Axel and his daughter are looking for the same thing while they're looking for Billy as well.
Well, they're trying to kind of repair their relationship
at the same time. Yeah. So there's a lot of moving parts coalescing as one here.
A lot of subplots going on.
Yeah. So that's what the plot basically centers around. And at the end, we find out that the convicted cop killer did in fact was found innocent. They came out victorious there at the end. Blah blah blah.
They kidnapped the daughter.
Of course,
Kevin Bacon does, and his crew.
Yeah.
And Axel has to go in and save, which is cool because it does bring back. You have the scene where you have Taggart and you have Rosewood together again doing a shootout, and you got Axel flying off trying to go save the day,
doing his own thing,
and they're kind of locked down, getting shot at, and with their and had great lines, and then they brought Serge in at a great time, got to see Serge do his thing, he was able to be a part of the story, but in the end, so of course they end up killing Kevin Bacon, the bad cop. What was his name? Grant?
Cade Grant.
Yeah, Cade Grant. They end up taking him out, and then, of course, everybody is... they save the day. Axel gets shot in this.
Does.
Like I said, spoilers. And it ends with I think it ends with that, right? Where they're no, I don't know if it ends with it, but they're staking out. Well, it ends with him and his daughter making up, but they're staking out the hospital where Axel is, just in case.
Yeah.
Rosewood and Taggart, and then of course Axel does the whole scene where he jumps in the car on him again.
Yeah.
No
exactly.
banana in the tailpipe this time, though.
No banana in the tailpipe.
But okay, so that's the basic idea of the story.
Yes.
You weren't happy with it. I asked you, and you came in, and I was shocked. I got to admit, I didn't say anything because I wanted to hold it till now.
Okay.
I was shocked at your reaction,
Yes.
and because I think it's because of my reaction to it, and that's why I was so shocked.
Yeah.
What did you like? What did you not like about it? And you weren't happy with this.
Yeah.
Movie.
I'm gonna start with what I did like. Like I mentioned before, I did like the original cast coming back. I love that the original cast came back. It was good to see John Ashton, Eddie Murphy, and Judge Reinhold on screen again for possibly here one last time.
Yeah.
What I also liked about it was the musical score from the three previous films, or the two previous films. The third one we kind of tend to forget here. But the musical score, which was awesome in the first two films, made their way back into...
Yes.
And the movie opened up with that same song from Gladys Knight and the Pips, The Heat Is On.
Yeah. The heat is on.
Or wait, no, Gladys Knight and the Pips didn't sing that. That was Kenny Loggins. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kenny Loggins sang that song.
Yeah.
My bad, folks. I'm good at music too. So yeah, I love that they had the soundtrack from the first two films back in this movie.
Loved it.
That's on all the original songs that we hear too. And then
I felt like it was 1984 and I'm at the movie theater again, man.
And also the Bob Seger song that was in the second movie.
Yeah.
It's just a given LA law that someone's faster on the draw. You gotta shake down, break down. So I love that song. That made a appearance. So yeah, I love that the cast, the soundtrack was back in it. That was great. What I also liked about it as well was the chemistry there with some of the new characters as well. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that role.
He was amazing.
I thought he was great in it.
He did a great job. I loved him in this.
And he had some really good satirical moments in there as well. So those are the elements that I did like about it. Now, what I did not like about it, okay? I did not like...
Hold on, he's rolling out his big list. It looks like a Santa Claus gift list here. Hold on.
Yeah, okay. What I didn't like was just the overall writing of the movie. I felt like the lines were forced a little bit. I felt like the jokes weren't as funny as they should have been. The liner, Now, it did have a very touching story to it as far as establishing the relationship between Eddie and his daughter there.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was just kind of like, it wasn't as hilarious as I wanted it to be, like the first two films were. And part of what made that those two movies work was, of course, Axel Foley coming up with his wisecracking impersonations and his jokes and everything else like that. Those weren't as prevalent in this one as they were in the first two films. They left most of that up to his daughter, who did a couple of impersonation routines there, sans the wisecracking. Yeah. And even the moments where his character did do that, where Axel did do that in this movie, it wasn't as hilarious as it was in the first two films.
Yes.
But I also realized, too, that the character is at a point in his life where he's not the Axel Foley that he was from the first two films.
Yes.
He's a father now. He's more mature. He's older. And so he doesn't have that same catch-all wit that he had in the first two films. So I didn't like that part of the movie either. I thought some of the action scenes were okay, I guess. I love the helicopter scene.
What?
I said I love the helicopter scene.
You said some of the action scenes were okay.
They were okay.
You didn't like the meter maid car chase?
I did. I hated the meter maid car chase.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. You mean to tell me that a meter maid car is going to outrun a Cadillac Escalade?
That was the funny part of it to me. That was the whole funny thing. Okay, so go ahead.
I thought the helicopter chase scene was funny.
Yes.
I thought the helicopter chase scene was funny.
Yes.
The meter maid chase scene, I did not like.
Oh my gosh, dude. I loved it.
Yes.
I'm going to just tell you, you could probably tell my reaction. I loved it.
And I also, the last thing I did not like about it was Judge Reinhold's part in the movie. I wanted to see him play a more prominent role in the film because he was in the first couple of minutes in the movie. Then we see him get taken hostage. Or we don't even see him get taken hostage. We just see the two gunmen come up behind him and we automatically assume that he's going
We don't
to
know
be,
if he's alive or dead.
Right,
but
exactly.
but I assumed I thought they're not going to kill him.
before we find out that they're looking for him.
Yeah.
Yes, but then again, we don't see Billy until the last 25, 30 minutes of the movie.
Well, and I'm going to say that was one of the big gripes I had as well, is I thought they kind of misused Taggart and Rosewood. I would have liked to have seen them with Axel doing more stuff before just the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too. So yeah, those are the things I didn't like about it. But overall, I mean, look, when you compare it to Beverly Hills Cop 3, which was just a complete train wreck looking for a place to happen.
I don't even remember that. I'll have to go back and watch it.
That was the one where he investigates this counterfeiting ring at the fictional theme park called Wally World.
Oh, okay.
And remember, he shot Uncle Dave Osborne in that movie, and yeah, it was just.
Oh man, I'll have to watch it. I don't even remember that.
I think you can stream it on Netflix. If not, it's on Paramount Plus.
I think they're all three on Netflix. I actually started watching the first one again. I haven't gotten through it though.
The third one, they went a little too overboard trying to make it too comedic, and that explains why John Landis directed it. Because John Landis was a great comedy director. He did films like Trading Places. He did Animal House.
You're talking about 3.
So, I'm talking about Beverly Hills Cop 3, yeah. So, but yeah, I felt that... getting back... So, yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 3 was a tragedy. We try to forget it. But so this film, I felt like there were certain moments there where they were just trying to force it to be... maybe too funny when they really didn't do it. So yeah, that's just
trying to force it a little too hard.
Yeah, a little too hard. That's just my take, though. It sounds like you have a different view here on this.
I'm gonna say I had a great time with this movie. I loved every minute of it. To me, it was a ride down nostalgia lane, like you said. The music, the action scenes. And sure, it's, he's an older Axel Foley, but to me, I didn't care if they repeated some of the bits that he had done. It was just good to see. And going back to, you were talking about, when he gets to, it's like, I mean, everything out of the gate, right? It's like from the beginning. When he's at the hockey rink there and he's trying to get those guys that are doing all the robbing, right? I mean, it's the same thing, right? It's the same as it's like, oh my gosh, this is Beverly Hills Cop, just straight up. And to me, I didn't care. I had a great time with it. I thought he did good. I thought he was pretty sharp as Axel Foley. And yes, he's a little bit older. I mean, but I thought he was pretty sharp. I mean, I didn't have any complaints with the character at all. I didn't think he was mailing it in just to, like, okay, let's just play this and get it over with. It seemed like he was really, really putting time into it. I loved the whole Taggart and, like you said, Rosewood get back into it. I loved Gordon Levitt. I loved his character. What was his character? Bobby Abbott.
Abbott.
I loved his character because here's the deal. He was kind of the linchpin that brought him and his daughter, Axel and his daughter, back together, I thought. You said, he had a couple of really, in a comedy, he had a couple of really kind of serious and sincere moments, but he wasn't being like the wimpy guy. You know what I mean? He was just saying, hey man, listen, I've been to some therapy. I've had this. I know when my dad left and this, and he's going through this stuff. Yeah. And it made a lot of sense. And this is when I get to every time when I say this, that you can tell stories and you can do things in certain ways that doesn't have to be about the message, but there's a message in there. And I thought they did a great job with his character. Paul Reiser. It was great to see Paul Reiser in there. How many times did Axel call back to Detroit? Hey, look this up for me, right? You know what I mean? I know it's a plot device, but they're like, hey, look her phone up for me. I mean, he's done that in the other movies.
I remember Beverly Hills Cop 2. I think one of the funniest scenes in Beverly Hills Cop 2 is where Eddie Murphy wants him to play Inspector Todd. Because if you remember...
he had to
the mayor of Beverly Hills was supposed to call Inspector Todd to verify Axel's identity with the Detroit Police Department.
Yeah.
And so there's a part where the mayor calls him, and then Paul Reiser is, portraying Todd. Yeah. And then the actor that played Todd in the second film walks into his office, and he sees Paul Reiser's character hang up the phone right as the call ends. And Todd says to Paul Reiser's character, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And then he looks around and he says, "This is not my office." And then Todd goes, "You damn right it isn't." But even before that, Todd rumbles in and he goes, "All right, who tricked my ass? God damn it!"
Oh, that's right. They had to get him out of the office, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then it bumps forward to the scene where he's on the phone. He said, "Yeah, that's right. He's part of some Axel's part of some interjurisdictional task task force on organized crime. I never know where the son of a bitch is. He never checks in on a daily basis. And that's where Todd walks in. He hangs up the phone and he says, this is not my office. And then he goes, you damn right it isn't.
Yes, yeah, I mean, those kind of moments. And I think, listen, this story had the memory berries in it.
It did.
I mean, with Serge coming back, that was great. Oh my gosh. And I can't remember, what is her name, the actress that played the girl when they were going in to buy the house? She was a Saturday Night Live alum. What was her name?
We'll scroll down on the cast list.
Let's see if they can find her.
Because she was pretty funny. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, she was great. Where is it? I can't. Oh my gosh.
I haven't watched SNL royally in years.
Yeah. Here's a question. And anyway, wait, all cast and crew. Let's see if we can find her real quick. Also, I was going to ask you, the director, what was his name? Malloy?
Mark Malloy.
Mark Malloy. What's the deal? Is this like his big first feature or what?
It must be, Eric, because this is the first time I've heard of him as a director. So maybe he was like a former cinematographer, kind of like the way James Cameron was before he became a director. I don't know. And actually, James Cameron was a special effects guy, not a cinematographer. But, I'd never heard of Mark Malloy before. So this sounds like it might be the first go-around for him, at least for a project this big.
Anyway, I cannot find who that was, but anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time on it here. But, but she did a great job. What was I going to say? Oh, I think it did. To me, it really checked all the boxes. It was a film that I could just sit back, and have fun with it, not think about all the stuff going on in the world. Just sit down, enjoy it, get the member berries. I thought they did a good job. They didn't over push them, but they had them in the right spots. I found myself laughing out loud at a lot of the stuff, and like I said, a lot of the gags are the same type of gags. Yeah. When they had the meter maids take Axel away when they arrested him after the chase, that was funny. I mean, just the stuff, because he was like teasing them about their car. Remember, they had like a little bitty tiny little clown car, right?
That's reminiscent of the first film when he got arrested. In the first film, he says, "I got to tell you, this is the cleanest car I've ever been in. You guys get top marks here for having a clean car."
That's what I'm saying. Like they had these little member berries, and they played off them. I loved it. He had the Renner wreck. He was driving around. I mean, it was just fun, and it was the only weak spot. I thought that the actress that played his daughter,
Taylor Page.
I thought. The IMDb wants me to sign in now. I thought sometimes it was she misplayed some of the moments a little bit. I don't know. She seemed a little. She seemed like a little less animated than she could have been in some moments. It's almost like she was too cold. Too many times, But
and by the way, her character did have a previous romantic relationship with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, they hooked up.
They were boyfriend and girlfriend. So that had
which set up some more comedic moments, especially between Axel and him. I mean, all three of them. But
it did. So it added an extra pleasant little layer to the plot twist there.
But that's what I mean. It didn't. Here's the deal. It just said they had a relationship. Let people assume whatever. It didn't have to preach to us about these are all the ins and outs of this relationship. I don't care. You know what? They had a relationship. They broke it off. She broke it off. Now couldn't date a cop. Okay, got it. Cool. Let's move on. And it added some funny stuff to it. Yeah. Overall, though, I'm going to say the cast did a great job. Okay. I think I didn't have a problem like you were talking about with I think with some of the jokes were kind of. Did you say
they were just stale?
Kind of stale and stuff.
I thought they weren't funny. They just weren't funny. Not like the cracking and the comedic wisecracking in the first two films. They just weren't funny.
Yeah, See that to me that's what the joke was, and a lot of it is because it was like the old man. It was like now the old man playing. It's like when your dad or your grandpa would tell you the same old joke, and you're like, oh come on, come on, grandpa. You know what I mean? The whole family goes Sure. That's what that's to me. It was the reaction to Axel, like especially with his daughter. Like his daughter was like, "Oh, Dad's up to it again," and then she would throw a curveball at him. Like the funny thing, like when he's trying to, he did his little bit where he goes into the impound yard. Remember that? And they want to get in the impound yard, and he sees the guy has a headshot up there, and he's like, "Oh, aren't you? I'm casting this movie. To be a casting director. Yeah, I'm casting this movie." And then he's all like, "Hey, are you an actor?" And then the guy's, "Oh yeah, I was in Jupiter Ascending." And then he's like, "Oh, I love it." And then all of a sudden the daughter goes, "Oh, tell us what you love about it. Tell us about the story."
She knows you've never seen it.
There's Jupiter,
and it was. Let me tell you, it ascended. Yeah. I mean, and then the guy goes, "Yeah, right. I was in that scene." mean?
Yeah,
or
yeah. See,
something
that's
like
what I'm
that.
saying. Is that it's like she put him on the spot. I loved it because she was kind of was his foil. When he was pulling his little pranks, it's like, oh, Dad's up to it again. I'm going to get him. Right. That's what I loved about it. He couldn't get away with his stuff.
Okay.
Had what's his name? Guzman was in it. He always plays Louis Guzman. He always plays these little great interesting roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought overall it did a great job.
Okay.
I didn't think it was stale for me. I did love the meter-maid car chase, and the reason is because of the silliness of it. You've got an Escalade. There's no way an Escalade would get outrun by that meter-maid car, but that's what made it funny. I mean, and just, of course, some of the... I thought they did pretty good with some of the chases. And they had a lot of good action in between. That was the thing, too. Like, it starts just like with every Beverly Hills Cop, right? It starts off with the action, and then you get the downtime. Okay, what's going on? You get more action. You get a little more downtime.
Yes.
I thought even though the story, I would say the story is not a new story. We know it many times. A cop, he goes bad for these reasons, and now the good guys have to get him.
Yeah.
To me, that's not a new story, but it was fine. I thought Kevin Bacon did a great job at playing a sleazeball. I think he needs to play the bad guy in more of these movies, man. He plays a great sleazeball. Anyway, so I thought he did a good job. I would give this thing, I mean, you know what? It checked the box. I would give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, I think it did. I think it did a really good job. I wanted to watch it again right after I finished, man. I was like, oh man, I got to see this again. I don't know. Would you watch it again? Do you think it's worth it?
Yeah, I would look. Even though I wasn't overly impressed with it, yeah, I would watch it again. Yeah, I mean, even though I didn't like it as much as you did, again, like I said, there were still a lot of elements about it that I did like. So, just for those elements alone, it would attract me back to it.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah, so I think, even if they did, and the thing is that I know why probably Rosewood and Taggart weren't in as much. I mean, Taggart especially, man, I don't even know how old that guy is.
I think John Ashton's got to be in his 70s now.
Yeah, so I mean, there's only so much those guys can do.
Right, exactly.
Because they are getting up there in age.
Yeah, they are.
But I wouldn't mind seeing, especially with kind of the new blood here with Gordon Levitt. I wouldn't mind seeing a kind
of a passing of the
Beverly
baton
Hills
here.
Cop. Yeah, maybe 5.
Yeah.
But with probably focus more on the new characters.
Well, Eric, just another little tidbit of interesting information here about this movie. I don't know if you're aware of the genesis of this movie, but this was a project that was nearly 20 years in the making in getting back on the big screen. And actually, this project almost fell apart completely and never happened at all. Really? I remember reading over the last couple of years how this had been in the works for a long time, but there were so many disagreements between who should be the director, who should be the producer, who should be the writer, who should fund the project, so on and so forth. And then it completely fell off the table. Everyone forgot about it being a movie. They tried to bring it back to They tried to bring it to Netflix as a TV series.
Okay.
And they wanted Eddie Murphy to be the Detroit chief of police in the TV series. And then they wanted his daughter to be the lead in the series.
Oh, interesting.
I guess, well, it is. And what made it interesting is the reason why they canned one of the reasons why they canned the idea of it being a TV series is not chiefly because Eddie Murphy decided, I'm not going to do that, but also they saw what a failure the Lethal Weapon series was on Fox. And they didn't want to follow the same route as the Lethal Weapon series on Fox, which only lasted about a season and a half before it was canceled.
Yeah.
And so then the TV plot for Beverly Hills Cop was on the table for about 4 years. And then it fell off the shelf. It stayed dormant for an additional 5 years. And then it wasn't until within the last 5 to 6 years where they finally resuscitated it, brought it back. They agreed on a script. The principal actors took a look at it. They all agreed on it, and that's what brought everyone finally back. So they had plans to make another film after 3 for a very, very, very long time. But yeah, because it hit all of these roadblocks, it took them this long to finally make it happen.
Yeah.
So this is something that didn't happen it was not an easy call to bring here back to Hollywood. And they had talked about releasing it in the theaters first, but because Netflix had already purchased the rights to it, they had already decided, well, we're just going to go ahead and hold exclusive distribution rights to it. If you want this movie to come out, you're either going to let us stream it or it's not going to come out at all.
Wow. It's funny you say that because I was thinking that I would have went to the theaters to see this.
I would have. Yeah.
And I wouldn't have felt like I wasted my money. I definitely, if I would have saw this in the theater, and it probably would have been a better experience because you're seeing it on the big screen.
Sure.
But I would have definitely, enjoyed it and got my money's worth out of it. And it's funny now, you say... We live in a world where we talk about it. I mean, more often than not, unfortunately, we talk about how bad these shows and movies are, right?
Yes.
Bad writing, bad acting, bad directing.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is the kind of movie that, back in the day, this would have probably been just an average movie. I mean, Beverly Hills Cop was a funny movie, but, it's not that it had this deep plot or it had all this and had all that. It was just a funny movie. And, this one here, 4, reminded me of that. And it reminds me of when you would go to, it's kind of like an in-between movie. It's not a Dune. It's not a Star Wars,
Sure.
but it's something that would just go, you'd go, hey, Friday night, let's go see a movie. Hey, that's out. Oh, let's go see that, and it would be a good kind of, filler movie. I mean, it's just an average movie that you would go see any weekend back in the day at the theater. And that's totally fine. I mean, we need those kind of movies. We don't have to have a blockbuster every time. I can't see this being a TV series. There's no way. It would have drug it out way too long.
Yeah, they had so many rewrites for the TV version of this. I guess the script went through about maybe a dozen or so different rewrites and different concepts. The main concept, again, initially started with Axel being the Detroit chief of police, his daughter being the lead role as the cop in Beverly Hills. There was another version where Axel goes out on an undercover bus in Beverly Hills. He gets killed, and then his daughter decides to take up the mantle of being a cop. They obviously decided, no, you can't kill off Axel Foley. That would be like killing off Martin Riggs in Lethal Weapon, It's just not supposed to happen. And so then they scrapped that. I guess they had another script idea where Eddie's character was going to be like an 8 or a 12 series run on Netflix. His character was only going to appear off and on periodically in the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then they were going to filter him out. And then also, they wanted Judge Reinhold to come back and be the chief of police, but that never full. So yeah, as you can tell, so many different gestations of this project went so many different ways, and ultimately it just everything else fell by the wayside there.
And I'll tell you, like I said, the story was nothing, nothing deep. Nothing spectacular, in the plot. It was just your basic storytelling. But the way they tied everything in, we talk about this all the time with bad storytelling, but the way they tied it in, they did it really good. I mean, Kevin's Bacon character, obviously, Taggart chose his side. That's why Billy left the force.
Yep.
And that's why they were kind of on the outside. I mean, everything really tied in, and they got it tied up well. And that's how it should be. Just, very simple storytelling. It's kind of, like I said, it's a movie that had fun, didn't preach at you, but, there were some moments in it that as far as touching moments, as far as storytelling, and it had a little bit of something to say while still entertaining the heck out of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think it did great. As far as the TV series and stuff, no. Would I see a Beverly Hills Cop 5? I mean, I could see him coming back, maybe retiring. Like all of a sudden he's retired and he's sitting around. I can't. What am I gonna do? I'm not gonna. I'm back into it. And somehow he gets tangled back into something, right? That's going on, and maybe with the young guy. I don't know if Rosewood and if they could redo those characters. Like I said, those guys are getting older.
It would be tough.
Yeah,
it would be tough.
It would be tough. But anyway, so I want to say the actress's name was Nasim Pedrad. Is that you said?
Pedrad, I think.
Pedrad, yeah. She was the one. She was actually on Saturday Night Live for a while. She was the one that played the lady who owns this.
The real estate agent?
Huh?
The real estate agent?
No, was she the real estate agent or was she the owner of the house? I didn't know for sure. Because anyway, so Serge is a real estate agent, and they use him because the house is right next door to where the bad guys are.
Yes.
And Axel wants to get in that house to look for stuff.
You're right. She might be the owner.
So I think she was the owner. Okay. Yeah, because remember she said she hated the house. She loved that. It was so funny. I loved. She was the perfect, like, as what you would expect as like a Beverly Hills person. Just it is so funny. And her and Serge, they had some great lines and great moments.
Yes, they did.
Dang, man. I just wish. When they redo, this was definitely a blueprint from when they redo stuff. When they're going to bring characters back and they redo these series and they bring them back to life. this is how you do it. Just do something simple storytelling, have some fun with it.
Yep.
Don't destroy the characters we love.
Yeah.
And let people enjoy it. Let the fans have it.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Anything else? Is that it?
That's pretty much all I got to say.
What would you give it? I gave it an 8. What would you give it?
I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Okay, well, 6.5. I'll take it.
I'll give it a 6.5.
All right.
Just because I'm a snob and I'm very particular about my action movie sequels. Comedy sequels.
I was just going to say, even though we end the show, I'm still going to work on him, folks. I'm going to get him up to at least a 7 on it. He's got to be at least a 7.
He's going to try, but he will fail.
We'll see.
The power of one will not prevail.
The power of many. Everybody get on Facebook. Convince Jason that it's worth a 7.
Or not. It's your choice.
The power of many.
Whoa.
Anyway, that's it, folks. That's all we have time for. Hey, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. As always, if you can rate the show, please do that. Give us a 5-star. That would be the best.
Yep.
If you really liked it, helps us. And check out our social media. And what else, Jason?
Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys. We will see you next show on the flip side. Peace out and God bless.
All right, guys. Take care of yourselves out there.
Take care.
And see you next time.
Yep. Bye-bye.